Well, that's a terrific program, and what a wonderful video to play to a captive room of journalists, eh? Let's hope the Kennedy Awards will continue the partnership for many years. And now I'd like to introduce the New South Wales Aboriginal Affairs Minister Victor Dominello and Coles Operation Director Stuart Machin, who will present the award for Most Outstanding Coverage of Indigenous Affairs, sponsored by Coles. Gentlemen.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are really proud to sponsor this award. It's very close to our hearts, and one of the finalist reports highlights the opportunities for employment within Indigenous communities. Over 2.5 years ago, we launched our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander plan in our business, and some of those team members that have been working on that plan are with us tonight, so I thank them for that. 2.5 years ago in our organisation, out of 100,000 people, we only employed 65 Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islanders. And over the past 2.5 years, we've been actively recruiting Indigenous people as employees within the Coles Group, and now employing nearly 1,000 Indigenous team members throughout our stores. So, congratulations to all the finalists today.
Thank you. There is no doubt in my mind that quality journalism will accelerate the pathway that we need to go upon, to embark upon in order to close the gap. Quality journalism that not only casts a laser light on issues that require critical analysis, but quality journalism that also casts a starlight on the growing aspiration of Aboriginal people in this great state of ours, so that they can in turn be the role models that we need to have for the next generation to come. So, without further ado, it's my very deep privilege to announce the nominees, and they are Mike Bowers, the Global Mail; Caro Meldrum Hanna, ABC 730; and Gordon Weiss, the Global Mail.
And I'm delighted to announce, if you haven't watched this, then you definitely should. It's absolutely fantastic. So, well-deserved Cairo from 7:30 report.
Caro Meldrum Hanna reports with passion about the dysfunctional town of Toomala on the New South Wales-Queensland border, where the Indigenous population has been treated with supreme indifference by successive governments since 1988.
Children are still exposed to raw sewage. Okay, so Sharon, we're at the back of your property here, and I can see it right in front of us here. That would be the raw sewage.
Yep, that's been there for 2.5 months now.
Just starting to pick up the smell of it too now.
Caro's powerful profile of the forgotten residents of Toomala should be mandatory viewing for all Australians.
Caro can't be here tonight, so she apologises for that. That was a fantastic story. The Toomala story has been playing out in the media for 20 years, and that episode of it was a fabulous exposition of Caro's storytelling and the 730's commitment to that sort of yarn. So, thank you very much, and thank you to the organisers of this evening. It's been a fantastic night.
And now another special award for this evening, named after the ABC's veteran helicopter pilot Gary Ticehurst. Gary, as you know, lost his life in the tragic crash in South Australia last year, which also saw the deaths of Paul Lockyer and the ABC cameraman John Bean. Here to present the Gary Ticehurst Award for Outstanding News Camera Coverage is a long-time friend of his and fellow chopper pilot, Dave Wilson of the Nine Network, and Teresa Ticehurst. Make them welcome.
When shooting aerial footage, cameramen will say that they depend upon the pilot to put them in the optimal position to get the shot. Pilots will tell you that it's the cameraman that makes them look good. Whatever the truth may be, it's undeniably a symbiotic relationship. For over 30 years, Gary Ticehurst flew with scores of cameramen and brought back some amazing footage. The 1998 Sydney to Hobart yacht race springs to mind immediately. The news footage from the Grantham floods and the Lake Eyre documentaries were also examples of this fine teamwork. Here now is a tribute to Gary, prepared by the ABC.
Paul Lockyer called the ABC helicopter his ute. At the controls was chopper pilot Gary Ticehurst. He started his flying career in the Australian Army in 1973.
And recognise that sort of the flexibility offered by the helicopter.
I'd like Gary to be remembered not just as a great bloke, but from a cinematographer's point of view, probably one of the greatest camera operators ever. I first met Gary on the Big Country episode called Pudding Pan Hill. The Pudding Pan Hill expedition was something that was led by Les Hiddens, and Gary at the time was a helicopter pilot with the Army.
Gary Ticehurst's work on this Big Country shoot led to him joining the ABC in 1980. A gregarious, much trusted figure, he transported reporters and crews far and wide.
Sienna, this is the ABC chopper. I'm just talking to Marine Search and Rescue at the moment. I possibly would endanger your yacht to make any assistance attempt at this stage, over.
He showed the extent of his skills during the tragic Sydney to Hobart yacht race of 1998, as he flew in treacherous conditions to locate and assist stranded yachtsmen.
I don't think Gary ever thought about Gary Ticehurst particularly, you know. Gary did the job that had to be done.
Winston Churchill, ABC chopper. Go ahead with your position, over.
Know for a fact that he was there coordinating a lot of the rescue because he was communicating, and in one of the instances I know that he stood by over one of the boats waiting for the rescue helicopter to get there. He wasn't going to abandon them and leave them.
For more than 2 decades, Gary Ticehurst was the pilot of choice for films, even landing his chopper in the centre of Sydney for one Hollywood film.
Jeez, he was grey, wasn't he? Anyway, the nominees for Outstanding News Camera Coverage are Paul Bousfield, 9 News Sydney. Paul Walker, 7 News. And Mitch Wall, 9 News Sydney. And the winner is Paul Bousfield.
The judges described Paul Bousfield's work in covering the Wagga Wagga floods as a massive effort, taking the time in challenging circumstances to capture many creative shots for maximum impact. They described the aerial shots from the 9 News chopper as a gutsy Ticehurst-style team effort.
I'd obviously like to thank the organisers, the Ticehurst family, and I suppose obviously the pilots, because without the pilots I wouldn't get a reasonable shot anyway. But also the wonderful journalists that I work with every day.